Having self-control is key in preparation for bad days to come, because when bad days come, we know how to handle them. We know how to control ourselves to handle the situation. So we have to learn and be willing to prepare for what's not in front of us. See, the key is understanding that I have to start with myself to recognize what's going on around me. We have to start with ourselves to recognize, to understand what's around us is not going to destroy us. If you really want to be honest, it's here to help you stronger. It's here to help you become stronger. And as we're becoming stronger, there's a reason why this adversity is popping up, because we always can't have a good day. Our days can't always be great, because there need to be days when we have to learn how to critically think for ourselves. I had to learn that the key was self-control, because not only did I have to learn more about myself, I had to learn how to control how I responded. See, that's the thing about life. That's the thing about growth. That's the thing about time. And the key is understanding that we have to put effort into ourselves. We can't develop, we can't grow if we don't have self-control. What's going on, everybody? My name is Terryl with the Humphrey, and welcome to another episode of Failure is Knowledge. Here at Failure is Knowledge, we talk about how we're growing personally through life experience, through experiences that we have experienced through. See, before I dive in on the topic on why self-control is key, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like, and wait towards the end and leave a comment. If you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because the conversations, we're diving deep so we become the best version of ourselves. So the first point I want to hit on, and this one is really empowering, because having self-control is the key to empowering communication. To empowering communication, just because of what we have to learn what to recognize. I didn't understand that anger is an emotion. I didn't understand that we all get our feelings hurt. I didn't recognize that we also have feelings just like everybody else. But what I didn't understand was that as a man, right, we're supposed to suppress our feelings. We're supposed to suppress what we're going through and just ball it up. But I had to learn, me balling up my feelings was destroying me internally. Was destroying me without me even knowing and recognizing what this was doing for me. It was what it was doing for me was not making me an effective communicator, because I didn't know what I was going through. See, when bad days got presented, I didn't know how to control myself. I didn't know how to speak up about my feelings being hurt, because I was told to suppress them. I was told to stop crying. I was told to stop communicating. At least that's what I thought. See, that I didn't understand having self-control is being able to communicate effectively to explain how you're feeling. And yet, it taught me the importance of bad days. Bad days happens because of, it's just life. We just can't prevent the days that's bad to not happen. They're happening for a reason. The reason is to help you grow. See, we can't face hard times because hard times won't bring out the good in us. What I had to learn, that effective communication, empowering communication, comes from self. The way I talk to myself is the way I talk to other people. I had to learn how to give myself grace. I had to learn how to be so kind rather than destroying and downplaying everything that I'm experiencing. See, experience is the best teacher, because now I understand why the key is self-control. See, self-control is saying I'm aware of my feelings, but why am I feeling some type of way? Why did my feelings get hurt in this certain situation, this certain conversation, this certain moment, this certain day? My feelings got hurt because I wasn't aware of them. My feelings got hurt because I was suppressing them, which caused it to hurt even more. That's when I understood that ego destroys communication. And it destroys communication because we don't want to speak about what we're going through, because we don't want to be judged. At least I didn't want to be judged, so I kept it to myself. Because it wasn't doing nothing for me. See, empowering communication is understanding that it's okay to express yourself. I had to learn and recognize that it was okay for me to express how I was feeling, because I wasn't feeling no way for no particular reason. And when I learned this, it taught me I have to communicate to myself first before I communicate to others. The reason being is because if I'm speaking to somebody else and I haven't dealt with the problem that I'm bringing to the world is so confusing because I don't know where to start. I don't know how to communicate because I haven't communicated what I have been going through. And think about how long I've been suppressing my feelings. And when I thought about how long I've been suppressing my feelings, the book came out. Master Your Mind, 10 Tips to Shift Your Mindset came out to learn how to properly communicate, how to effectively communicate for your story, because your story is so empowering. If you haven't checked that book out, I suggest Master Your Mind, 10 Tips to Shift Your Mindset. The link will be in the description below. Make sure you read it. Make sure you go read it and get it and learn from other people's experiences. From other people, I'm just talking about myself. And see, that's when I understood that this book was just more than a book. It's my story because I had to learn how to effectively communicate. See, communication is not just me talking. Communication is me listening. Communication is me responding in a manner to show that I'm listening to what's been said. How can I listen to myself if I'm not putting effort and understanding who I am? See, we have to become aware of self so self can have control and master the key. That the key is the secret. The key is understanding your effort. The key is recognizing that bad days are going to come. When they come, how are we controlling ourselves? See, self-control builds up empowering communication because communication has to be understood every single day. And when I learned that I need to learn how to know myself, be one with myself, that's when time started working with me rather than against me. Because I began to communicate for myself. I began to express what I was going through because bad days come as they're being presented. How are we handling them? I wasn't handling them because I was trying to run away from them. I was trying to run away because that's all I knew. That's all I knew. I knew how to run, but I didn't know how to stay. Just because of when we stay in our problem, when we sit in our misery and just recognize it, it brings up emotions. It brings up so many emotions. But just like I mentioned earlier, we all have feelings, and yet the feelings are not dealt with because we don't know how to control ourselves. And understanding that controlling who we are comes from empowering communication is how we talk to ourselves. We have to listen what we're feeling. We have to listen and be aware that what you're feeling something for a particular reason. We have to be willing and strong enough to identify what this reason is. The reason is right in front of us because the reason is in front of us, yet we just don't want to handle it. We just don't want to assess it and understand what has happened to us. What happened here? And it only happened because it's okay. It's okay that it happened. How can we control ourselves? The next one I want to hit on, and this one is really key because it ties into empowering communication. Maintaining focus. What I've learned is that when we have bad days, our focus is on the bad. Our focus is on the misery, yet our focus is not on the answer. Just because we go through bad times, meaning we're supposed to really dive and focus and dwell into it. What about the solution when the bad days get presented? I didn't recognize that every problem has a solution. We just have to be resourceful within ourselves to go find it. We have to give effort to go search what can help us. We have to be willing to learn more information, to communicate and control the way we're speaking to one another. See, empowering communication just don't come for yourself. It comes from when you're communicating your problem. Not only did I have to learn how to maintain my focus when I was mad and upset, I had to maintain my focus when I was happy and glad. Why? Because they're emotions. The emotions fluctuate. Emotions are on a scale that's unbalanced. Because one day you're happy. One day I was happy. One day I was sad. One day I was happy. One day I was sad. It was a pattern. It was a pattern, but the pattern didn't get recognized until I started working on myself. See, self-control is key because we're putting ourselves first. I had to learn how to listen to what I was going through because what I was going through was preparing me to learn how to become more resourceful. See, my focus was on the negative because that's what I was feeling at the moment. Have you noticed every time you get upset, you're able to remember everything that took place that day? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But think about it. We remember when we mad. We remember when our feelings get hurt. But what about the last time you was happy? What about when something really just made you overwhelmed with emotions, with happy emotions? See, that's the thing. Focus come and go because we determine what we want to put our energy towards. And when I learned that focus has to be maintained just because of the effort for self-control, that became the key to life. That became the key to growth, because there's a saying that goes, learn as you grow. There's a saying that goes, learn as you go, grow as you learn. And what does that even mean? We have to be willing to focus on the growth that's not right in front of us. And when I learned and understood that growth happens every single day, that we go through emotions every single day, we can't always be happy. We can't always be sad. And yet we remain sad because we don't understand the power of happiness. And it's because of our feelings got hurt, so we're going to remember everything that took place from this. When I understood that feelings are powerful because it's not biased toward happy or sad. Whatever we put our mind and energy towards, that's what we're going to be feeling. That's what we're going to be expressing. That's what we're going to be dealing with. Because oftentimes we have to really focus on ourselves. And it's so amazing how the first one was empowering communication. We have to learn how to communicate for ourselves. And the next point is really just saying you have to maintain your focus so you communicate effectively. And when I understood that everything has a process, yes, it's okay to cry as a man. Yes, it's okay to get your feelings hurt. Yes, it's okay to be depressed. Yes, it's okay to be sad. And yes, it's okay to be happy. Yes, it's okay to be sad. Yes, it's okay to be happy. Yes, it's okay to be glad. Yes, it's okay to be excited. Yes, it's okay to be overwhelmed with emotions. Why? Because feelings and emotions are not just one gender specific. No, we all deal with emotions. We're just not aware of it. We're just not in control of ourselves, and we let the worst out of us come from us. Why? Because we're not used to properly communicating. We're not used to empowering the communication for ourselves, because we're so used to saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, so why do I have to try? Why me? Why do I have to go through this tough time? But what if the tough time was to prepare you what happiness can look like? See, that's what I had to learn, that happiness was right on the other side of being at your lowest point, just because of the growth that you have to go through. If you don't face adversity, if you don't face hard times, if you don't face tough times, if you don't face times where it's overcoming your emotions, where it's draining you, how can you bounce back up? There's a saying, you can only be so low. you can only be so low, because how low do you need to get in order to start making yourself happy? That's when I understood the power of self-control. It became the secret of my life, just because of how much I'm putting work into myself. Work has to be put and established in everything that we do. And it's so important to recognize this, because we can't identify what the key and the secret ingredient is if we're not putting ingredients to even try and taste and implement what we don't already know. See, the thing about ingredients is that when it comes together is one. Yet they're individual seasonings, right? They're individual seasonings. Yet when the seasonings comes with the food, come together as one, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oftentimes we want amazing before we get the ingredients. Why? Because we see the end goal, but the end goal is so far from us. How do we take the small actions? How do we understand that our focus needs to be on ourselves to control what we are growing into? That's when I understood that success takes a lot. So does working on yourself. So does listening to your emotions. So does listening to and expressing how you're feeling. So does properly communicating. So does maintaining your focus. That the key is what we focus on. Because, because it's the ingredient for growth. You can't be happy if you never experience sadness. You can't be happy if you never experience sadness. You can't be depressed if you never understood what joy was. Either way, you have to pick what side you want to be on. Your lowest can only go so low. How low do you need to go in order to start growing? How low do you need to become to recognize I can't do this no more? I need to focus on my healing and myself and control how I respond to the negative. Because when I control how I'm responding to the negative, I learn more about myself. Because I'm focused on my control. I'm focused on maintaining everything that I'm doing correctly. Yes, there's still going to be bad days. Yet when the bad days come, you know how to handle them. Before I get to the last point, this Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm hosting a free webinar on how to repurpose your pain into your passion. See, oftentimes we're going through tough times, and yet the times has to be taught because we have to learn more about ourselves. As we're learning more about ourselves, we have to grow into our success. We have to grow into our healing. We have to grow into our effort. This Wednesday, I'm hosting a free webinar on how to repurpose your pain into your passion. If you'd like to join and register, the link will be in the description. Make sure you sign up, register, and I'll see you Wednesday. This Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. The last one I want to hit on is achieving personal goals. Self-control is key because we achieve personal goals. But as we're achieving goals, we're recognizing the effort that we're putting in ourselves. It's not going unnoticed. It's not going unnoticed because we decide to focus on what we would like to do. And see, as we're focusing on what we would like to do, we have to learn that it takes time. It takes time because goals are not accomplished overnight. Bad days still come, but yet how we're controlling what's coming for us. Bad days still present, but yet how do we control how we communicate for it? See, empowering communication saying I can do anything I put my mind to, even when it get hard, even when it get difficult, even when it get overwhelming. Overwhelming is just teaching us and showing us how we can control the madness, how we can control the bad days. We can't prevent bad days from happening. We can only just learn from them. How low do we need to stoop to learn that our lowest is our lowest, and that's gonna be it? What about me learning more how to be higher than my lower? And it's simply because goals has to be accomplished, not just in a total, not total. Goals have to be accomplished slowly rather than as a whole. Why? Because when I remember when I was doing the puzzles, there was 1,000 pieces. I ain't gonna lie, it was a lot of pieces. I was doing it with my brother. The goal was to start small. Okay, how many pictures can we build together in order to build the final picture? We got to start small. And the pieces, 1,000 pieces is pretty small. So we have to focus on the small goal here and right now. We have to break this big goal down to small pieces to recognize as we're growing and evolving and focusing on ourselves, the piece by piece, puzzle by puzzle is being developed. Even though we don't recognize the picture is still getting painted. And as it's getting painted, we have to understand the more we do this, the more we can figure it out. The more we continue to put these pieces to the puzzle gonna be puzzled because of our effort. And when I learned that we have to be able to take our big goal to break it down to small pieces, we have to be consistent with the goal. We have to have personal goals to recognize that our personal goals is our big goals down the line. And we can only do the piece by piece, picture by picture, because we're focusing our energy on things that we can control. Because think about this, as the pieces are getting puzzled, right? As the pieces are getting puzzled, the goal is being established. We can't find our reasoning if we quit along the journey. Think about me taking a break for 10 days and me stopping on the pieces. Me, as I'm stopping and pursuing my goals are inconsistent because I'm not focused on one goal at a time. I'm focused on so many goals because there's so many pictures around me. There's so many pictures around me. I want to do them all. What if you can't do them all? What if you do the picture one by one? What if you do one picture piece by piece? What if you do one picture goal by goal? Why? Because as one picture is being puzzled, it's being put together for the next goal to be accomplished. And as we're doing that, we have to recognize that it takes time. It takes time to accomplish your goals because your goals can't be accomplished overnight. It takes time to accomplish your goals because your goals can be accomplished overnight. Why? Because it takes effort. It takes consistency. Yeah, your picture look good, but we have to understand we got to go through something. We got to go through the rockiness of life to recognize that we can actually do this. We have to learn how to be consistent for ourselves and understand that self-control is the key to putting the pieces to the puzzle. Right? Putting the pieces to the puzzle, we have to understand that the puzzles is what we are focusing on. See, in order to recognize that your empowering communication is helping you, we have to do it more often. We have to do it more often. We can't be afraid to communicate how we're feeling, nor should we shy away from listening to ourselves. And the focus is understanding that anytime we put our focus on any and everything, that's what's going to be completed. That's what's going to be tried. That's what's going to be done. Focus is the key because it teaches us how to maintain our self-control. Even though we're maintaining our self-control, we have to recognize that our personal goals takes time to be accomplished. Why? Because we have to break them down from the big piece to small pieces to understand that it takes time to eat what you want to do. It takes time to build the puzzle and put the puzzle together as one. We really have to be patient for ourselves because success rewards the person that can control themselves. That is the key. We have to learn how to control ourselves when adversity and bad times get when they come, and they're going to come. Yet when they come, we know how to handle them different because we know how to control ourselves. If you got value from this and really want to watch more about how to personally develop within yourself, make sure you click the link in the description below or leave a comment explaining how you are gaining control over yourself. What is your secret to control everything that you're doing for yourself? Leave it in the comments. I would love to read. I love to share. I love to comment below. And if you also would like to watch more videos how to personally develop as the best version of yourself, click this link right here, and I'll see you there.